Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson. Make sure you check out Rope-A-Dope Radio, blogtalkradio.com/Rope-A-Dope Radio. We had Danny Garcia, an up-and-coming prospect, on the show last Wednesday. Jeff Mayweather, Eddie Chambers, a lot of prospects, Nate Campbell. Make sure you go check that out. Anyway, this is a prediction video on Arthur Abraham and Andre Dirrell. Now, Andre Dirrell is coming off a loss, which a lot of people thought, Dirrell did win that fight. I had Dirrell winning by 2 points. I believe it was 2 points. I had him winning the fight. I'll say this, though, about Dirrell. If he fights the way he fought against Froch, he's not going to win this fight. Unless we're counting the first 2 rounds and some of those late rounds where he actually got his shots off on the inside and the outside and actually hurt Froch. That would be a different story. Dirrell has all the talent in the world, has power, has speed, has athleticism. It's just a matter of honing it, into one skilled fighter. I think that's the problem. He does the hands down moving a lot. And some say, well, Roy Jones did that. Yeah, that's true. And some say, well, Floyd does that. Yeah, Floyd does that, but he also, protects himself with that too, and usually has one hand cocked, and also can pick apart shots coming in. He can pick them off. So he usually has that one hand cocked. So not only that, but his footwork. For how athletic he is, I think his footwork moving away is not as good as it could be. There's a lot of times where like I said, he was just moving straight back, and Froch later in the fight caught up to him, but Froch just couldn't catch up to him. I thought it was Dirrell's fight to win. I thought he won the fight. But the thing is, you can clinch. Shane Mosley clinches. He gets his shots on the outside and on the inside, but he gets off and clinches. He gets off and pulls the guy's elbow and moves him away. He does smart clinches, and holds when he has to. He doesn't necessarily do the lunge hold as much. And that's where the problem was, I believe, with Dirrell. He lunge held too much. And after a while, you can only hold so much. You know what I mean? And if you're going to hold, you might as well get your shots off on the inside and then hold before Froch or anybody else could do anything about it, especially a slower guy than you. And everybody's slower in this tournament. Andre Ward is very fast, but I believe Dirrell probably has faster hand speed. Now, Arthur Abraham, he's got that high guard. He's got a really high guard. He's got that turtle defense to where at the end of fights, you see this whole area is just messed up and bruised because a lot of times, he shells up, but he doesn't necessarily put the earmuffs on to where he doesn't know what's going on and can't see his opponent. And then at times, he'll get back and all of a sudden he'll put those hands down and start to go. He likes to go to the body. He's got a good jab. He's got great power, as he's shown plenty of times. He showed in his last fight against Jermaine Taylor. One-shot power. So he's a very patient, very skilled fighter. I was watching the fight with my brother, and he had never seen Abraham fight. And he's like, what is wrong with this guy? I was like, hold on, man. It'll be worth it. Just hang on. He's a very patient fighter. Now, I do think he's going to have to up the pace a little bit and actually throw punches back, because I do think that if he just lets Dirrell build a lead by outboxing him, it will be tougher to get to Dirrell than a Jermaine Taylor. And I do believe that jab and I believe the activity and the speed and the power, but especially the speed and ability of Dirrell will give him problems. And I wouldn't even doubt if after 6 rounds it's a 4-2 or something like that. I do see Dirrell getting the early lead. No matter what, though, Arthur Abraham has always been patient, no matter what. Once he gets you hurt, then all of a sudden he goes into it. But there's been a lot of talk about him either doing this or on the offense, and he doesn't have that fluid, in-between game to where someone hits you and then you go right back to it. He doesn't necessarily have that. I think he has it somewhat, but he sure doesn't show it enough. And he hasn't shown in the past that he has that ability constantly to do that. He's not necessarily a counter-puncher type guy. But he's a smart fighter. Overall, I see this as a razor-tight fight. I think it's a pick-em type fight. I think it could go either way. Off the last performance of Dirrell, there were some things that troubled me about him, and that's why I picked Froch. And I feel like it was a tight enough fight, and that was going against Froch. And Froch is a guy that's really slow and kind of, he's got a good jab when he uses it, and he's got a big right hand, but he had problem catching up to him. Well, Abraham's not going to go running for him. You know what I mean? He's going to maybe sit right in the middle of the ring. Now, I don't know if Dirrell in the middle of the ring would seem like that would be a better place for him, right? I just think he brings slow pressure. Like he just patient pressure. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different than what Froch does, or it's a lot different, actually. So this one's tough, man. I believe I'll be going back and forth on this, and I've heard points on both sides, but I am going to go with Arthur Abraham, and even like a split decision type close fight. Like I said, I wouldn't doubt if Dirrell gets that early lead, and that may cause some problems, but it also may make him aggressive enough. I think the key, though, for Abraham will be to up your work rate just minorly. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. You don't have to go spazzing out, but you do have to throw more punches, just barely. So anyway, I'm going to go with Arthur Abraham by decision. This has been the Rope and Dope Report. I'm your host, Chris Carlson. Peace.